This is not a video about my first Disney cruise. That didn't happen. Due to unforeseen circumstances, we had to reschedule the cruise. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to tell you about my heroes in the Reedy Creek Fire Department and pretend like the cruise hasn't happened yet. Because it hasn't. A lot's changed since Reedy Creek hired their first fire chief in 1968. Yeah, that's right. Reedy Creek hired a fire chief before they had a district administrator. And when Reedy Creek was just starting out, they were looking for experienced leadership. And they found it in the guise of Chief Paul Pennington. Pennington was retiring after 42 years in the fire service. He'd been a fire chief in the city of Orlando since 1953. And before becoming the chief in the district, he was largely responsible for organizing Reedy Creek's Emergency Services Bureau. In its beginning days, RCFD had what can only be called a vintage engine and 7 firefighters, but Pennington was a determined man. Having finished only 8th grade before signing on to OFD, he was determined to finish his studies. So, 25 years after leaving school, the chief completed his diploma. And this was the kind of leadership Reedy Creek needed in its early days. Pennington grew the department, and by 1974, the department had 3 1971 Ward LaFrance 1,250-gallon-minute pumpers, 2 Woodstruck, 1 tanker, 1 rescue, and 3 ambulances. And they also had a new chief, Otis E. Castro. And although born in Pittsburgh, Chief Castro had been living in Central Florida since 1960. Early on, it was clear to RCFD officials that EMS, or Emergency Medical Services, was going to make up most of their calls. While most fire departments that handle medical calls across the country respond to 85 to 90% medical calls, EMS calls make up 95 to 97% of Reedy Creek's responses. And Reedy Creek prepared by establishing one of the first enhanced 911 systems in the state to go along with one of the first paramedic programs. That's right, while most of America's first heard of paramedics from Roy and Johnny on TV, well, Reedy Creek already had a program in place. And it was a TV show like Emergency with Roy and Johnny that started me on my career path as a rescue firefighter. In 1971, there were only 12 paramedic units operating across the United States, and Reedy Creek was one of those. It was also during this period that Reedy Creek made what many firefighters believed to be one of the worst decisions a fire department can make. They transitioned from the beautiful red trucks we've come to know as fire apparatus and painted them yellow. To lessen the blow to you, I've shown this transition in black and white. By 1974, the district had 54 combat firefighters and 3 men assigned to fire prevention. From the beginning, Reedy Creek followed its own more stringent standards, the Epcot building codes. And to ensure these codes were being followed, Walt Disney World had its own fire inspectors. But in 1984, these responsibilities were turned over completely to Reedy Creek Fire Department. On any given day, you may find one of Reedy Creek's 18 fire inspectors at any one of Reedy Creek's 1,500 structures, performing weekly inspections at over 450 commercial kitchens, or issuing permits for construction activities like welding. These Florida-certified inspectors report to their own battalion chief, who reports to the assistant chief, who is also the fire marshal. A unique feature of all the property being under the control of Reedy Creek is an extensive network of fire protection systems, which are also monitored at the fire department's communication center. No middleman, no non-compliant alarm systems, and of course, reduced dollar amount when it comes to fire loss. There are also 10 sprinkler techs on staff. During a normal duty day, Reedy Creek Fire has 9 2-man ambulances manned with dual certification firefighter paramedics in service and ready to go. The Lake Magic Kingdom alone could have 100,000 guests inside. So back in 2001, the district made a move to decrease response times to guests in need. To supplement the advanced life support units, each park and Disney Springs all have MARCs, or Medical Assistance Response Carts. Working not the standard 24-hour shifts, but either an 8, 10, or 12-hour shift, the MARC teams consist of 30 paramedics and 6 EMTs that are not required to be certified firefighters. These paramedics and EMTs are also called to serve on the many marathons that occur all around Walt Disney World, utilizing specially equipped bicycles that can rapidly respond to a guest in need. Now here's where I'd like to take some time to talk about Reedy Creek's Special Operations and Response Team, or SOAR. RCFD fields 4 pumpers running out of 4 fire stations. They also run tower ladder trucks out of, well, depending on when you look, every station but Station 2 over by the All-Star Resorts. Those are not fully manned, they're on standby in the station. But that's what Reedy Creek does that almost every other fire department does. The weirdness comes from the unique transportation systems the district has to deal with, like one of the most unique systems in the world, the monorail. And over the years, the department's had to respond to every type of emergency you could possibly think on the monorail lines. There have been at least 8 different incidents on the line. But to aid in evacuation, RCFD's always fielded a tower ladder with 4-wheel drive. But a few years back, they also added Platform 31, a scissor lift platform truck capable of evacuating an entire car at a time. Also available for operations, monorail operations have also got a couple of diesel-powered tugs. With these, they can tow an entire disabled train back to the station where it can be evacuated. And crews are constantly training on rescue and operations on the system. And even before the Skyliner was ready to open, RCFD Special Operations members were already practicing rescue methods. In addition to the stations, the Skyliner goes over Hourglass Lake and across the busy Buena Vista Drive. The district has recently spent millions of dollars on specialized rescue equipment. On Hourglass Lake, RCFD has a multi-level rescue barge and a Sun Tracker 22-foot pontoon boat. Now, Hourglass Lake is cut off from the waters along the Skyliner's route, so if the cars are over the waterways leading up to Epcot's World Showcase, the barge is not an option. So SOAR members were spotted after hours practicing high-angle rope rescues from these gondolas. Over sections where the Skyliner was to go into swampier areas like along Buena Vista Drive, the district has added a compacted surface so the 2 unique MEC Titan Boom 60S self-propelled scissor lift platforms can respond. And for the higher lines, RCFD has gone outside of the regular fire apparatus and purchased a Pronto Skylift. Now, these trucks are generally used by utility companies for working on electric lines, but who can argue with a 173-foot reach? They've also purchased a more traditional E1 tower with a 116-foot articulating boom. This ladder can go places other ladders can't. So my guess is that this will replace one of the existing towers. Again, this apparatus is only going to be special called and it won't be manned on a regular basis. And as a posed question to RCFD, you guys are already halfway there. Why not just adopt the Quint idea? You've already got tower ladders with pumps, water tanks, and hose beds. You could use them instead of the engines. It's just a personal opinion. I mean, Orange County's running Quints, and it seems to work pretty well for them, and they're also red. But back to special operations. And yes, I know I've said not to call it by this name before, but the rescue firefighters, a light, medium, or heavy-duty squad, is really just a giant toolbox. Reedy Creek's current toolbox is a 2005 Spartan Gladiator with an AVI rescue body. In the Air Force, I was always surprised at how much gear we could carry on our little utility trucks, but since then, so many tools have been added that even the Air Force has got to get bigger trucks. Squad 1 is a massive toolbox with a huge amount of equipment, but there still isn't enough room for all the extra hazmat equipment. That's why they have Squad 2. Recently replaced, Squad 2 carries everything the department needs for hazardous materials response and containment. RCFD has also adopted the pod system. That's the ultimate specialized toolbox, where all the equipment you need for either a mass casualty incident, a large forest fire, or a major hazardous materials incident are packed and ready to go. They only need to be pulled up on the back of a rollback truck, and you've got an extremely specialized toolbox. And for undergoing all this specialized training and certifications, the district pays special operations firefighters $1 an hour over regular firefighter paramedics. $1. And they even threatened to eliminate SOAR during one of their good faith contract negotiations, which would have done away with that dollar too. But as far as I'm concerned, Reedy Creek firefighters have already proven themselves time and time again. Don't believe me? Try pre-planning a fire in this place. The Magic Kingdom Utilidors. 9 acres of tunnels, warehouses, office, a cafeteria, and a bank, with multiple exits located all around Magic Kingdom, and making sure that the equipment is close without slapping it in the face of the guests. There are 2 mark units in the tunnels. Keeping equipment handy, but not interfering with the guest experience is an RCFD specialty, like the box over at Big Thunder Mountain. Who's Richard D. LePere Jr.? Well, He's the chief at the Reedy Creek Fire Department, and in addition to the box at Big Thunder, there's another by Peter Pan's Plate, and both boxes do the same thing. They cover a fire hydrant. Look for them next time you're in the parks. In the end, Reedy Creek looks like an everyday, ordinary fire department. There's so much more. They can handle so many types of specialized rescue that nobody else could. I mean, could you imagine having to assist in rescuing guests from a disabled Small World boat while this song played over and over and over again? On a serious note, I would like to take a moment to pay my respects to a charter member of Reedy Creek Special Operations and Response Team, Lieutenant James Dormany, who made the ultimate sacrifice May 18th of 2017. Our prayers go out to his family. Emmy's a little, busy right now, but she'll check your likes and comments just as soon as she's clear. And I too hope you enjoyed these videos and you'll choose to give it a big, well, thumbs up. That way, maybe Reedy Creek Fire Department will make me an honorary fire chief and the district will trespass me. And if you'd like to help out in the making of these videos, why don't you head on over to patreon.com/asbobseesit and get on board with us. If you'd like to see more of this type of video, all you need to do is subscribe. It's free. You just click on that red subscribe button down below. And remember, when you do subscribe, don't forget to click on that bell icon. That way you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.